Hello and welcome back to another character creation video. My name's Lumen and today we're having a look at Throne and Liberty. Welcome to Throne and Liberty, a free-to-play MMORPG that takes place in a vast open world called Solisium. You can scale expansive mountain ranges for new vantage points, scan the open skies, traverse sprawling plains, and explore a land full of depth and opportunity. Adapt your fight to survive and thrive through strategic decisions in PvP, PvE, or both, as you encounter evolving battlefields impacted by weather, time of day, and other players. There's no single path to victory as you seek to defeat Kazar and claim the throne while keeping rival guilds at bay. Yeah, I mean, that's very exciting. This game I've actually been waiting for quite some time, mostly because of how impressive the characters have looked. I mean, the rest of the game looks pretty fancy as well, but the characters themselves, they always just looked so pristine. So I've been waiting, I've been very excited to jump in here, and hey, it's finally time. If you'd like to do a deep dive to discover all there is to discover about Throne and Liberty, you can find some links below, and as always there will be timestamps. Now, we're going to jump in, and first I'm just going to show you what you can do in character creation with the different settings available. That'll be quite quick. Then we're going to jump into male customization, but as we start that, I will show you all the presets first, then we'll look at every single option available, and then we will randomize at the end. And then we'll do the exact same thing for female. Now, I'm starting with male because there is a bug in the game right now where if you start customizing a female character, if you even just sniff the air around a female character, then the beards just shrivel up and die and you can no longer pick them. So you have to do male first, and if you log in and your beards are missing, that's why. Log in, pick male immediately, then the beards will be there. The beards are pretty funny. You should definitely stick around for the beards. it's kind of insane. But that's it. Let's jump in. I'm going to start by just showing you what's available here. First things first, there are a bunch of decent presets for both male and female characters. They are incredibly attractive through and through. We're going to look at them in a moment, but I just want to show you that. Then you can also share your appearance, which is really cool. I love it when character creators do this. So you can actually save a character here and you can go and share it on the forums, on Discord, on Reddit, to your friends, whatever. That's cool. This should be standard when it's a big character creation system with a lot of options. I love it. Then there are some lighting options and expressions for your character as well. This is the same on male and female. The faces obviously look different based on the character that you got selected, but you can have a default expression. You can have a neutral expression, which is, I'll be real with you right now, not the most neutral look that I've ever seen. You can have a confident expression, much better. That makes sense. A smile looks a little sinister, and then you can have rage, which I'll be honest, yeah, that's pretty good. that's pretty good. I do love that you can just keep his mouth like this and he just stays like this in perpetuity. Yeah, dude's got good teeth. I could stare at this all day, but let's go back there quickly. Then there are 3 different lighting modes, also very important, because I want to mention this, and I'm probably going to mention it multiple times as we go through. It's not always what you see is what you get. The hairstyles and colors, they are different, vastly different in different lighting. It's kind of a weird situation. Some of the colors don't look like the colors that you actually pick in until you pick them and jump into the game. So I'm just going to say to you, beware as you're going through, because this is part guide and part showcase. I will just say, watch out. When you pick your hair color, then check the different lighting options, see what your character looks like, and then make the decision after that. All right? Then finally, you have a history tab, which is really nice. I love this. You can go back every step of the way, and you can go back to the different parts that you've changed. You can see that I was fiddling around with beards earlier to make sure that they were working. Very cool. And you can also just reset it back to the default, which will be this guy right here. You can hide the UI, and you can have the mouse attract the attention of your character. Your character's gaze can follow the mouse. And that's it. There we go. You can zoom out and zoom in. Fantastic. Let us begin. For male customization, the first thing I want to show you guys is the set of templates that they have available. They look amazing. The characters look absolutely phenomenal in this game. There is just so much good attached to this. I want to actually say, and this is something I've mentioned in a few games before, it is a very Asian thing in games. I think the characters are all just a little too good looking. It's one of those situations where, and I had the same thing in like Lost Ark when I did that recently, and a few other games. The characters are all just too good looking. And it's not that I want a bad looking character, it's that I want a character that feels like my character. I don't want my character to feel like a goddamn GQ supermodel on the front of a magazine cover. You know, not always. Yeah, it's a fantasy game, but the fantasy doesn't always have to be perfection. The fantasy can be so many different things. So yeah, let me just say that as I jump in here. One of the small grievances I have is that they present to you literally nothing but perfection. I get it. It's a good look for the game. If you dig a little, and if you fiddle with the settings, but you gotta fiddle a lot, you will be able to make a character that looks a little more normal. Just know it's quite a tall order. There is a decent amount that you can do, however. And I want to also, while we're going through these presets, just draw your attention to stuff like the stubble on the face here, and some of the lines on the face, and just some of the more defining features of some of the characters here. It's very important, because some of the presets and stuff that you pick, they are very important in making the character that you want. You won't be able to find certain parts here. Things like that nice stubble that we saw on that dude's face there, where it's got a nice rough skin texture. It's kind of difficult to reproduce that. So it's a good idea to jump into the presets here and just fiddle around with them. Take a peek at all the options available and maybe pick one that sort of aligns with what you have planned. It's generally a good idea anyway. You let the game do half the work for you, and you take it from there. But I will again just mention that these characters, they look so good. And I don't mean like, you know, they are attractive. I said that already. I mean just the clarity on the models. The fact that the hair actually looks so good that for once, they are together in that. Oftentimes, you have a phenomenal looking face. You know, the visual fidelity, the sheer level of detail that they have on the face is just like mind-blowing, but then they have this hair that just does not work. And sometimes it's the opposite. This game, the characters are just, wow, all the way through. Every part of them. Like, just look for a second at this face. The amount of detail here. And, I mean, you have some hair physics, you have full natural looking movement on the face. Everything about this is just perfect. And I mean, yeah, I'm going on about it a little bit, but I'm actually seriously impressed. And the one thing I will say is I do hope that this level of visual fidelity sticks with us as we jump into the game. I really hope so, because sometimes they throw on a couple of extra layers for character creation. Then once you jump into the game itself, your character looks like a watered down version of what you actually created. I'm hoping that's not the case. I haven't spent enough time with this to know, but just know, as I've gone through these presets now, I feel like it's a pretty strong showing for the character creation system. There's a good variety, the hair looks phenomenal, the face shapes, and I want to also say this is something that you can see that they've actually considered here, the ethnicities. All of it. They have a good amount of different styles here, and I feel like it's a phenomenal starting point. So, big thumbs up already where this stuff is concerned, right? So as I mentioned, we were going to do the presets first, then we're going to jump right back up to the actual appearance settings. I'm going with this guy right now because I feel like it's a good place to start. He's just sort of, you know, standard, straightforward, good face structure, no hair to bother us with our customization, and yeah, let's just do it, right? Now, the presets here are, as you can tell, changing the overall bone structure of your face, the skin tone, the skin texture, you will notice as well, and a bunch of other stuff. It's a very important choice. I feel like a lot of the choices are important until you get to the sliders. Now, I mentioned before the stubble. Here you can notice if we take one of these, you've got some really nice stubble, you've got some nice lines and stuff here. These are sort of your more mature looking faces. And if you want to make a rougher and gruffer looking character, that's a great place to start. But lots of different options here. I like it. For the purposes of this video, I will just pick the basic dude once again. And I'm not slighting the guy. He doesn't look basic. He's just way more attractive than I can even imagine. But you get what I'm saying, right? Then you get to pick a face type, right? What I see this as, and I don't know if this is 100% true, but I see this as the ethnicity. You can see it if you look at the eyes. If you pay attention to the eyes, you are picking the ethnicity. And then after you do this, and you get down to the skin color, you can sort of pick that to match the ethnicity you're going for, and you can sort of keep customizing from there. I have no doubt that if you use all of these things, and you use all of these things, and all of these other things, you can probably create the designer presets one-to-one exactly. But again, the reason I sort of tend to mention if you're looking for a certain style, you go find it in the preset, and then you come over here, and then you customize it. It's an easier way of going about it. And that is just because the artists that made these models, they know more than we know, because they've spent a lot of time with this. So they know that perhaps this facial structure over here looks better with a darker skin tone. So trust them on that, you know? Trust the process. Then we've got a little shape slider here. I generally tend to like these, but I do believe they are in some cases a little restrictive. You got round at the top here. It doesn't move much. And this is going to be like a... It's going to be a clarion call that I sound constantly throughout this. It doesn't move much. A lot of the sliders here are slightly less impactful than I'd like, but it's cool because they give you these sort of changes that you can make. And when you've gone through all of them, then you will end up where you want to be. But just let me tell you, it's a lot of sliders for, let's say it's a lot of work for less than I think it should give. Narrow face is pretty fantastic, right? So there's big movement here. When you go from the broader, wider faces to narrow, you can sort of Brad Pitt your character's jawline out, which is great. You can Timothée Chalamet your jawline as well, which is kind of nice. And you can go somewhere in between as well. The round is not as round as I'd like it to be, but, you know, it's still there. It's a good option. And then we're going to move on to the skin, right? So, gloss. Sort of standard fare. They always have this gloss here. I don't know why. I don't like the option, but I do understand it, I suppose. I'll leave it somewhere in the middle. It's cool. Then they give you a couple of recommended skin tones here, which is basically just, hey, guys, these are the human ones. Hey, guys, these are skin tones we've seen on actual living human beings. Please pick these. Please, guys, please just pick one of the recommended color. Wait, you're going to the color wheel? No, stop! I'm just kidding. But that's how I see them reacting often when they give you full RGB for skin tones. It's goddamn hilarious and I love it. This is grounded in reality in many ways, shapes and forms. You've got some really nice darker skin tones here. They look good. I like that you can, for the most part, get anything you want with it. You will notice that up at the top here you have cooler tones. Down at the bottom you have warmer tones. It's a good showing. It's not perfect. Okay, it's not perfect. This is the darkest you can go. It's not perfect. You could be a little darker than this. I'm just saying, like, there are people in this world with darker skin tones than this. But I still think it's a decent showing. It's okay. It's alright. Let's take their recommended one again. Wrinkle depth. You can make your character look a little older. I like this. And I think it's, again, very, very nice looking on the characters themselves. Quite cool. Quite cool. And then you get to do freckle and spots. Freckle and spot types. There's basically just a bunch of markings. You can see this is a beauty spot that's moving around. It's, yeah, I mean, I don't know where they sort of came off with this, as in, like, why specifically these? I don't know. Then there are some freckles. Freckles look good. I love freckles. I think that they're great. So let's give this guy some freckles. He looks cute with them on. Then you can do the opacity. This is making me laugh already, because there's an unlikely opacity slider coming soon, and you guys are going to love it. Scars. Scars in this game look great. They are really, really cool. They don't look like fresh scars, you will notice. They look like they've been around a little while, and that's cool. I think that they are rather on, they're more on the subtle side of things, right? So the scars themselves, you you know, you're gonna like put them on, and sometimes it's gonna be a little hard to see them because you can't really make them any more visible than this. But I think that they look really good. It's not the best scars I've ever seen, but they look really good. I'm happy with it. It's fine. Also not a fantastic selection. At least to make up for that, when we get down to the makeup, the tattoos, and the war paint, there's some phenomenal stuff there. So, cheekbones. Let's move on to cheekbones. Let's just minimize these so we don't get lost in the menus. I've already gotten lost in the menus, I'm just saying. Now, this is where the sliders start. I think they're okay, and I'm gonna show you how much movement they give you, because some of them do give you good movement, but you really have to put all of them together to get something from them, because some of them do basically nothing, and you know, it's a situation where you absolutely have to work with the entirety of what they're presenting you to get what you're looking for, to make those big changes. As you saw right there, I will give you an example on this and then I'll just go through the rest straight. But if you bring them all down here, you put them all on the 0, then you can see, I mean, the face is just looking slightly gaunter. It's looking a little more sunken in certain places. And it's the same situation where if you push it up a lot, then the cheekbones are much bigger, much higher. It looks a little weird, actually. It's cool. It's nice that they have this many sliders. It's just that I do feel it's one of those situations where they do give way too many options. In other words, they could have actually just given you like one of these little shape sliders instead for all of it, but okay, that's the cheekbones bone structure. This is basically the lower cheeks. You can see over there. The back cheek, which is an interesting way of naming it, and then the temple width, which is basically up at the top by your eyebrows. Then you got the jaw, which is what we actually just changed over there. We changed a bit of the jaw. And you got your length at the front here. This is good movement. I like this. The width over here, once again, good movement. You got the lower protrusion. The lateral depth, that's at the back. We have to go over here for this. Can't really see it very well. It's literally the furthest back corner over there. Lateral height, that's slightly more impactful. The width, and then the jaw height. These are good. I give a thumbs up to the jaw options. Then we have chin. Yeah, okay. No option to put any extra, like, you know, markings or anything on there, but the faces do come with different looking chins, so yeah, just know that. Now, that's actually it for the face structure. Now we're going to move on to the eyes. You can pick a straight up eye type. Basically, these are templates for the eyes, and everything you do here can be done here as well. So this is a good example of what you can accomplish, basically, and they have some decent options here. And I'm happy to report that the eyes actually look really nice when you zoom out. It's sort of like you can still see the changes that you make. They've done well with the realism and then also the impact that they have. So let's take the basic ones here. Move on to the iris. You can do them both sides or individually. I'm just going to go both sides, but remember that you can do either. And this is actually our first jump into a full color wheel, which I will show you in just a moment. But these are the recommended colors. Less grounded in reality, these options here, because you can pick pinks and purples and, well, there's one color that I'm going to be mentioning a lot here, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Full color wheel. This will be the first mention, actually, of said color. It's full RGB to a certain extent. You get to swing this around the sides and pick the color you want, then you get to pick the shade and the brightness of the color. It's good. It's good. There's a certain color that's missing, however, and I'm going to mention this multiple times. Yellow is just absent. I understand that this is yellow, and my eyes might be playing tricks on me, but when you put the yellow on the hair, you tend to get green instead. I don't know why. It's like when I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm struggling with yellow. This is yellow. This is yellow. This is good. But I seem to lose it all the time when I get to the hair. And I want to complain about it there because I love yellow. It's my color, okay? and I struggled so much to find yellow to put it on the hair. And it's not that I want yellow hair, but like, you know, all those shades seems to be a little murky in this. However, the color is beautiful. You can really do anything you want with this. So if you want bright pink eyes, you can do it. If you want white eyes, if you want black eyes, you can go anywhere with this. And it's a great system where that's concerned. I love it. I absolutely love what they've done. I'm going to pick a bright color for us. Let's go with one of these pink-ish colors. That's nice, and like this is good so that we can see all the extras. Now, the type. This is your pupil and surrounds. I wish we could zoom in a little more here that we could see. Let's take a lighter. There you go. So it's basically the pattern on the inside there. And I'm sorry, it's like really small. I can't really do better than this, unfortunately. But it's kind of cool. There's a lot of different options here. Not as much as something like Lost Ark, where they have little pictures and stuff in there, but it's still quite good. This is the the size. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. Wow. It's looking a little crazy. It kind of looks very anime in some ways. But yeah, then you can do brightness, and it's basically just the brightness of the color, right? Then let's move on to the pupil options here. Size of the pupil. That's the black part in the middle, for those that don't know. And then the width of the pupil. You can actually make a slit instead of a circle. Very cool. These eyes are actually just freaking me out a little bit. Change them quickly. There we go. All right. Then we have options for the actual shape of the face, the eye spacing, and all the rest, right? So you can move them closer to each other over here. You can do the depth, which is viewable from this side. Good movement there. The size. This is just the overall size. Kind of cool. Aperture. It's basically how wide open, closed they are. Eye length. You're just working with the size more over here. The duct length. Slant. Kind of cool that you can actually change that here. And then eye slant, which is the outer slant, and the duct height. Right? Then we move on to the eyelids. And this is insane. Look at all these damn options we have for eyes. But again, if you sort of mess with these and you put them all on one side or the other side, there's a lot. There's really a lot. And that is the end for the eye options. Now we're going to jump onto the eyebrows. Slightly less here, but still decent choices. You got some presets, basically, that will give you, well, I would say all that you need. But, you know, you still have more to mess with. So let me show you that. Firstly, you have the eyebrow type. Not a massive selection, but there's a few choices. Then you can do the opacity, if you so desire. And then you can do colors. They even recommend colors for your eyebrows, which is interesting considering they do this before you get to the hair. The hair is like all the way down here. I don't know why. But yes, there are colors. These are the recommended ones. And then you've got a full RGB wheel as well that you can use to do that. Not going to go into too much detail where this is concerned, mostly because, yeah, I mean, you should rather just do the hair first, then come back to the eyebrows. They should have put the hair at the start. Height, kind of nice. This helps to set up the expression of your character's face. It's good to know that you can do this. Spread, which is the distance from the start, from the center, and then protrusion, which is slightly less impactful, but when you pull it all the way to the top, yeah, it definitely makes a difference. I feel like we've messed something up somewhere here already. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's something wrong. Then we have details. So you can do the thickness of the eyebrow, the height, inner. Again, for your expression, it's kind of nice. You can make him look a little bit more sincere. You can make him look more curious, more angry, and so on and so forth. Very cool. Very cool that they give you these options. This is the inner end. It's the height. The width. And the outer end. That's on the sides. And there you go. Again, I'm just going to go back to the start and just pick one of the default ones here. Now we're going to move on to nose. So there are some nose presets. Again, I love the idea that they've taken the presets, they've divided them all up, they've put them all in their own categories, and then they allow you to just pick a preset. It's so much easier than coming in here and fiddling with a whole bunch of sliders. I love sliders. This is what I do. I make characters, and I enjoy it thoroughly. But not everyone does. Sometimes people want to customize, but they don't want to spend a year doing it. So if you just come through each section here and you click the presets, you'll end up with something unique. And it will look pretty cool because it'll look like how you want it to look. But if you want to do it yourself, you have all these options here. So here's the nose brow height. I did not know that was what it was called. Here's the bridge, the width, the bone, which is kind of an important one. There you go. The tip, protrusion, tip angle. Yeah, you can make some mistakes here, so I will say tread carefully, and that's the nostrils. That's it for the nose. Now we are moving on to the mouth. Again, I want to just say again, I feel they should have had the hair and the beard and stuff first, but here we are. The structure is quite important. But mouth presets, some decent options here. One of my favorite options in makeup is actually one of the lipstick choices that you can make there. Oh, I can't wait to show you guys. Mouth movement here. You can make it bigger and smaller sideways. So you got the length and the height. Then protrusion. It's pretty subtle, but important. And then lip angle. It's basically just up, down, or neutral. And then you got mouth details over here, which is the upper lip depth, lower depth, upper width, and lower width. Give this guy some nice lips. There we go. All right. Next up, the ears. Oh, ho, ho. You can actually pick elvish ears. Well, I mean, elvish, it's not elvish per se, but you got pointy ears, okay? And then you can set the size, which I feel is like one of... I don't want to say Throne of Liberty has the best ear customization, because it doesn't. There are other character creators out there with better customization on ears, more options and stuff. But I felt when I looked at this for the first time that it was very natural in how it behaved when you moved it. So, like, they did well with this. And you can do the angle as well. It's fantastic. Like, give us options. Give us movement. Give us a way to do what we want to do. They've done it. Yeah, they've done it. So, look, you actually even do the makeup before you do the hair. It's really weird. I love this section. So, buckle up. There's some good stuff here. So, makeup. You can go for some subtle stuff, like a bit of lipstick and eyeliner. Or you can go full kiss mode, which you'll see in just a moment. These are just the presets, right? Ah, there it is. I love this lipstick, dude. I love this lipstick. It has so many uses. You can make yourself into like a vampire character that's been sucking blood. You can make yourself into someone who just doesn't care and they just smeared the makeup on in the morning. I love that. I just love it. On the female characters, it also looks really good. But it's like easily usable on male and female. It's good. It's a fantastic... I love that. I just love it. And I love how good the red looks on it. So there's actually some interesting options here for the... Because before I get carried away, I need to mention the important stuff. For the different choices here. One, I would say this is probably the first time that I've seen it. I've done hundreds, if not thousands of videos at this point. This might be the first time that I see a character creator do this one thing. They actually allow you to use different opacities on the different parts. So you get to customize it way more than you would in another game or creator or something like that. The idea is basically that when you get down here at the bottom, you'll see that on something like this, you get to do the opacity for the black and the white separately. And you get to do the color for them separately, which is just like, it's actually awesome. It's really cool because you get to, you know, mix and match and make some interesting designs. Here we have eyelashes, which, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, I can barely see changes here. Like, you would have to come up real close to be able to see these changes. On the bigger ones, you can definitely see it, but on the smaller ones, man. Eyeliner. That I can see. Like, that's more visible. And I mean, look, come on, this just looks fabulous. Then you can also set the opacity. The opacity slider is used very liberally throughout this character creation. Eyeshadow. Let's set the opacity up on both of them. So with the eyeshadow, you actually get to change both colors of it. You will notice here that it's not so visible. So what I'll do is I will jump in and make it darker. So you can actually have a look at it like that. Now, well, let's make the other one like a bright color. This yellow, so-called yellow. Okay, there we go. That's where the color lines are. Let's look what they look like. Going for the old bumblebee look, black and yellow. Tried and tested, guys. Tried and tested. Alright, there we go. So you got two different colors, just keep that in mind. Then you can also put glitter on. So let's look at the glitter on this. It is not imperceptible. You can actually see it up on the top there, and on the different options, it glows quite nicely, especially when you change the light in. It's cool. I love when they add extras like this to makeup, because it's just a phenomenal look. It's really cool. Yeah, so there you go. That's the eyeshadow. Now, cheek makeup, the most boring makeup. I'm going to make it blue so we can see it. Then we're going to put the opacity up. Now, where the heck is the cheek makeup? There it is. There it is. Hello. You can do some interesting stuff with this by moving it around and not putting it on your actual cheeks. I don't know what this is, man. Like, it's just, I look at it and I think to myself, like, what were they doing with this? I mean, like, yeah, you can probably put it on the mouth and you can make it like red and it can look like blood or something. There you go. Yeah, it's a weird option. I don't know what the heck, man. But again, more options, better, so that's a win. Lip makeup. Here we go. We got a nice red selected here. We're going to make it much more visible. Then we're going to check what we've got. As I was saying, I really like this one. Right here. And I like putting glitter on it. You get to choose to put glitter on a whole lot of different stuff here, and I mean, by the end of it, your character is sufficiently bedazzled. The one thing I will say that I've noticed here is that, and I'm not sure if this is like fact, I haven't been able to figure out how to change the glitter color. So like, it's like, you've got what you've got. and that's basically it. It's like a golden yellowy glitter. I don't know. I'm not very good with colors. Surprisingly, I'm not very good at colors, but I don't know where to change that option. Maybe it's just absent from the male customization. They have it on female. I've noticed a few inconsistencies like that, but the glitter is just glitter. That's all they give you with it. But again, I like this with like the full red. I think it looks really nice. Let's see, where can we find? There's a nice red. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Anyway, that is the lip makeup. The last one's the war paint. This is the fun one, actually. We got the opacity set to max. You got some options here. These are tattoos. Not a huge selection, I gotta say. But there is quite a lot you can do with some of them. You can't have tattoos and war paint on, so you have to choose one or the other. Now, as I was mentioning before, you actually have opacity on both of these. So you can take the white off, or put it back, or you can take the black off, or put it back. I think that is really, really, really awesome. These are the designs. And it's the same for all of them, so I can take the white away, or I can take the black away. Very cool. Again, it just makes that each of them is basically a couple of different designs that you can use, you know? It's really nice. Like, I'm a fan of it. Now, for the purposes of the customization, let's take this one over here, and I'll show you the different colors. Full RGB, as always. You can do quite a lot with it. I think this is... Let's take a big red. There you go. The best you can do. And then let's go for like a white. As you can see, pretty impactful. Yeah, lots to do. And, I mean, there are people out there, you watching this video right now probably, that are super creative, that can do all sorts of cool stuff with good color combos. And again, with the opacity here, you can most likely figure something super duper cool out. And yeah, if you can, more power to you, man. You're the ones making the great characters. That's awesome. That is it for the makeup, and we are finally on to the beard and the hair. This character creation system, yeah, this is one of the places where it really shines. I love the hair that they have. Now, you start with presets. There are more presets than hairstyles, which is interesting, because they've got multiples here. But this preset is the hairstyle and the beard combined. Now, I mentioned before there was a problem with the beards. If you go onto a female body type, and then you come back to male, then the beards are missing, and you cannot customize them. So just know that. If you came here for this, just know that if you want to fix that, I don't know if they're going to patch it or not. It might be patched by the time you play, but if you want to fix that, just back out and come back in and pick male immediately, then customize. Don't look at female first. But the presets that they have here are really nice. The presets are basically beards and hair together, and there are a decent number of them. Much like the designer presets for the characters themselves, these are actually pretty well done. And I'm going to say, the beards actually look decent. Like, I kind of like it. They've got this weird graininess to them, which I don't always like in games, but it is a pretty cohesive style that they have here. It's all just running along together and working. It is a little fine, but it looks good, especially when they make it thicker, when they go outside the comfort zone as I would call it. It's cool. They've done all right. I think that if you combine these with the more rugged looking faces, so you throw a beard on a rugged looking face, it will look better. Once again, I'm running with the default character here, so the beards look slightly less impressive on said character, but just know that if you do throw it on a character that has the stubble here, it will look nicer, right? As you may have seen in the designer presets at the start. But there's a decent number of options here, and man, the customization that you actually get access to over here for the beards and the hair, it's okay. It's not the best I've seen. I do feel like Lost Ark as an example, and it's an example that I bring up because it's quite similar. I feel like Lost Ark had a better system, but this one is okay. So the styles that you have access to, they are these. There's no customizing them. You pick the style and that's it. And this is like phenomenal right here. I like this. Oh, yeah, it's really cool. Lots of nice hair physics, lots of nice detail on the hair. It looks really good. There's just a decent selection, yeah. I will say, as a enjoyer of short hair, I did feel like we were missing a few short styles. Now, I may be alone in this, but I sort of I enjoy my hair standing up at the front. What do you call it? Like a cowlick or something? They don't even have that. They don't have that. You know? They've got more what I would call Asian styles, Eastern styles. Like this is maybe the closest I could get to a cowlick, which is technically a cowlick, but like that's it. There's no more. So I criticize that teeny weeny bit, not a lot, but a little bit. I'll criticize that a little bit. Let's pick this for now. It just looks nice and voluptuous. Colors. The recommended colors are here. Now earlier I could not make my hair yellow. I want to mention that. Now maybe it's gonna work. But I just could not find yellow on this color wheel. Like every time I went to yellow, I just got like a weird green. And yeah, I mean, it might be the lighting, but it seems like we are running into that problem again. It's like green over here, it's like green over there, and it's like, here's the blonde. But the yellow is just missing. Not that I want to make my hair yellow anyway, I'm just saying the colors are a little, they react a little weird. However, they are quite deep. And vibrant and full of life, and I love it because there are just lots of options. So if I put it in the bright spot here and I go around, as you can see, you have everything. It's great. And if you lose the color you're looking for, there are some decent options here as well. I do believe that they have enough here to choose from, but full RGB, thumbs up. A little less usable than I'd like because again some of the colors seem a little hard to find, but overall, yeah, it looks phenomenal. Really, really cool. Then you get to pick a contrasting color over here, which basically allows you, and this might be the reason I'm struggling. Let's have a look. It basically allows you to pick a secondary color and have that interact with the first primary color. So if I take pink over here and I work with the range, it basically lets it grow from the tips, right? Then it does that, and opacity is just the brightness of the color. So if I turn all of that off, let's see if we can now find the yellow. Not really, it's still a little absent. but anyway, that's what you can do. And thus, you can see why I say maybe Lost Ark has a slightly better system, because that's it. That's what you've got. You've got the contrasting color, and then you're done, right? There is a lot you can do with it, and you've seen it in a lot of the presets, but that's about it. Now the beards. This is... I cannot. I laugh because it's funny. Right, so this is how the beards work. Let's just take a hairstyle that doesn't get in the way. Right, so let's take that one. The beards are very interesting. You got the beard types here, right? These are the short ones. They're cool. Yeah, nice. Then you get a thickness slider, right? Kind of makes sense on this. You can see it sort of removing the hair a little bit. It's like, this makes a lot of sense. I like this. Okay, it's cool. Less hair, more hair. Less hair, more hair. Take this one. Less hair, more hair. That's good. Yeah. Okay. Now we get to this one. There's a good bunch of styles here, and again, I'm actually really impressed by this, because oftentimes the games that are made by Eastern developers are slightly less inclined to add good beard styles, but this is just like, this is beyond funny. So when you do the thickness on these, You morph your beard into a phantom beard, a ghost beard. Because look what happens. I cannot. You changing the actual opacity on the beard. I cannot. Someone sat there and they said, this is how we're going to do the thickness of the beards. Just make a slider for opacity. Yeah, man. Let them have a ghost beard. Let them have an ethereal beard. That's what the players will want. I'm sorry, this amuses me greatly. I've never seen this before. This is new tech, you know? Like, I cannot. That is not how it works. Guys! Okay, you get to change the colors on the beard. I'm sorry, I'm not going to stick with this. I'm done. I had so much fun. I laughed out loud earlier when I was sitting here alone looking at this. I laughed out loud. The beards are okay. There's really no complaint. My only suggestion is do not use the thickness slider because it looks ridiculous. They could have added a few more shorter styles, I feel, but for the beards, but they're still okay. Yeah, I will not complain about it. Not in a million years. Almost our final options. Here we have the body options. So we've got some sliders, which is nice. We can make our characters taller, bulkier, which just literally stretches them to the side, slimmer, and shorter. I don't like that when you go shorter, you can't go like properly short and slim because like your character gets less slim as you go because it's a circle basically. I would like to be slim but short as well. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that it gets bulkier when you go short. But otherwise, this is decent. However, it is not really morphing the body, it's just stretching it. Just know that as you jump in here. Height. Pretty good. Lots of movement there. Upper body. That's the head. Interesting movement there. Neck width. Neck length. Shoulder position. Can work on the posture. Shoulder size. Shoulder width. Then we have chest and arms. Yeah. Biceps. Why not? The forearm. And then the hands. Alright. Lower body. So overall, I'm not too impressed by all of this. This is the waist. It is more than just the waist. As you can see. Overall, I'm not too impressed by the number of options that they have here, because I do feel like they are literally just stretching the body this way or that, and it's going to look a little weird if you go off standard, right? But it is good that they gave us options. It's cool. I'm not going to complain. More options, better. It's better to have options than have nothing, right? But that's it. Also, a complaint is that you can't take the character's armor off here to see what the body looks like, but it's fine. Costumes. I don't know if this is what you start with. I think it's just to show your character off. It's just to see what your character would look like in the different costumes, in the different roles, you know, with different armor on, basically. But these are the costumes available here. They look really good. The design is phenomenal. I like what I'm seeing. Yeah, it looks really nice. And that actually brings us to the end. Somehow, some way, here we are. We are going to randomize now, because this guy that we made, I don't like him all that much. Let's get rid of him. It's time to randomize. I'm also going to say one thing about randomization. The characters all look too good. It is a curated experience, very much. They don't go crazy with the sliders. So for those wondering, the randomization is basically just picking the templates, and it is giving you a combination of the different templates. There's no craziness that can happen here. There's a bit of movement, you know, this way or that, but for the most part, the characters are looking relatively attractive, and like you're not going to get crazy proportions or wild looks here. For the most part, it is tame. So it's not the best randomization system I've ever seen. I like the glitter, but there is at least randomize, and it can allow you to sort of find some decent options that you can work with if you'd like, right? So there is really just nothing to complain about here. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And I mean, look at this. That's a fantastic looking character. There's a big story behind this. I dig it. So yeah, overall, big fan of what they have. But we are not done yet. Here, this is actually kind of a nice look as well. Damn. Very cool. Alright. That brings us to the end of male customization. we are now going to switch over to the female. Here we are. Here we are, and the model just looks phenomenal. God, the level of detail. It's so cool. I've had a peek at both, right? I personally think that the female characters are a little more interesting in Throne and Liberty. I don't know if it's maybe just the fact that the beards weren't all that great on the male side. They were okay, but it could be something else. It could be partly that. It could just be that the options available on female for things like the hair are just more varied and diverse. It could be that the faces are more interesting, but I personally preferred making a female character. The test character that I made for female was more interesting to me. And again, it might just be a me thing. I don't know, maybe it's because all the guys looked like schoolboys in the presets that I could pick from. But hey, here we are, female customization. Let us commence. I'm going to start by looking at the designer presets, and then after that, full customization, and then after that, randomization. Right? There are some really cool presets here. I am super impressed. The visual fidelity, the clarity on the models themselves, the texture work, the hair. Some of the hair here is just mind-blowingly good. It looks so good. The one hairstyle down here, this one over here, when we get to it, I'll show you. It might be the best hairstyle I've ever seen in a game. I kid you not. I kid you not. But the minute details that they have, like where the hair meets the scalp, where there's like this tiny amount of hair physics, just the right amount. A lot of the stuff, it just comes together to make this one of the better looking character creators that I've ever seen. Some of these look very familiar. Like I feel like I saw this exact character in Lost Ark when I made a character there. But yeah, I'm also happy that they didn't stick with just like Barbie style supermodel characters. They have some more interesting ones here with scars and markings and stuff like that. It's kind of sick. This is Jaheira, young Jaheira from Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, the face is it's not harsh enough, but it's almost there. It's actually the hairstyle that's doing it, and the hair color. This hairstyle looks really nice. Very, very cool. But just wait till you see the other one. Almost Shadowheart. But not really. But not really. Yeah, look at this, man. I think it's the hairstyles as well. It really is. What's the difference between these two? A lot. It's actually quite different. Okay. I like that hairstyle as well. Yeah, so I was very happy with the selection that they had in the designer preset section here. I think it's great. It is a really good showcase of all the options that are available. You know, one of the things that I think makes the female character selection more appealing to me might be the real estate on the eyes. I feel like they've made all the eyes rather large, and because of that, you are gazing into the very soul beneath, and it just makes it more appealing to look at, I suppose. I don't know for sure, but a lot of these characters just look really nice. And this right here could potentially be the best looking hairstyle I've seen in the game. I feel like perhaps before this, Hogwarts Legacy held the sort of first place, the podium pole position for hair, but this might be ready to dethrone it. I love what they've done. And if you just sit for a moment and look at the entirety of it, look at the details on the outer edges versus the details on the inner parts, look at how it moves when you jiggle it a little bit, everything about this hairstyle, the detail on the individual strands, it's just perfection. Like, this is really, really, really nicely done. I appreciate this. I appreciate whoever spent time on this, because it's truly... it is magnificent. I mean, as is this one. This actually looks kind of nice too. They all look good. God, oof. I could sit here all day just looking at these because, yeah, man. They've done a great job. This is a nice long hair style. They've done a great job. And I'm impressed by it. And worry not, if you're not getting a good look at the hair, we will be looking at the hair when we get to the hair section. So, yeah. Just worry not. The markings and stuff also really, really cool. You will see a lot more of that as well when we jump in. I think that the marking system that they have here is set up in a pretty interesting way. There could be more variety on it, I guess, but at the same time, what they do have, they've used to its fullest. And I also like that they dabble with the ears a little bit. You'll notice that they actually move them around. They did, however, and this is something that's probably very important to say, play it safe with these presets, because they are all, like, ridiculously attractive. It's like it doesn't matter. Yeah, you've got dirt all over the face. There's a goddamn bloody lip and a scar across the eye. Still the most attractive female I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry to say. It's just a little unrealistic. But that is just the way of these games, right? Like, you come to expect that after a certain point. It is just what it is. So we're going to go with the basic one. Again, like, this is just, it's a free-to-play game. Jump in here for yourself, have a look at these, fiddle around, find something you like. There's just so much, right? There is so much. Let's jump into the individual appearance settings. So the way this works is you've got presets for the faces. These presets were used over here in the templates to basically give you different characters. Now, they all have different bone structures, not vastly different, but different. And they also give you the different ethnicities. Now, some of these will look better with lighter skins, and some, like perhaps this one, will look better with a darker skin tone. You can see that they give you a serve-in suggestion with it, but they don't go all the way. Also, all of it has sort of a oriental flair to it. Okay, that is just the way of these games. The characters, you know, you can find some that do not look quite as much like that. There are definitely some options here, but it's a bit more difficult and you have to actually go out of your way. But that's where the mastery comes in, and that's where the fun comes in. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to pick the first one, but remember, this is probably one of your most important choices right here. And also know that this is just the preset. You get to customize it as we go down here. So, face. This is the face structure. This is also basically, so I mentioned here a lot of this is the ethnicity. They give you the combo of the skin tone and the face itself. This is the face only. And it has a couple of skin tones attached to it. Like, you will notice that this one is a little darker than, say, for instance, that one. You can see there. They have different colors on the lips, around the eyes. But that's your starting point, and it's basically, this is the starting point for this face, and that's the starting point for that face. It allows you to go a little darker on the skin tone here, but only a little, and so on and so forth. Very important choices, these. The presets are a great place to start, but if you want to go for full customization, then you'll come down here and you'll pick the one you want. Again, ethnicity and a whole bunch of other stuff like age included. Let's take the first one for now. There's a slider here for the face shape. There's a decent amount of movement on this, and I kind of like it more on the female side of things because they allow you to go a little more crazy with it than on the male side. A little more crazy. You can go round, which I feel they could have been a little more generous with, because round face, it's like, it's barely different from the default one, as you can see. However, narrow moves quite a lot, as does wide, and as does long. So I feel like maybe the round one was snubbed a little bit. I don't know. Let's move on to the skin. Gloss. It's always an option in these games for some reason. I don't like it at all, but it does make it look a little bit more natural, give your skin a healthy glow. Recommended colors. These are basically just the colors that they recommend for the character you're busy with now. It's just a good selection. It's like the darker ones. It's good that they have a slightly cooler tone and a slightly warmer tone for the darker skins. I will say I do think they could have gone a little darker as well, because when you jump into the actual color wheel here, it is curated. You don't go full RGB, but when you go in here, the darkest you can go is around this. And it's not great, you know, but it's fine. I think that they wanted to preserve the integrity of the look of the game, and that's how they do it. They don't let you go too far. Wrinkles. Not too impressive, but a decent amount. It adds a little bit more texture to the skin as well, which I kind of like, but most people are probably going to keep this on empty. Freckles and spots. These are exactly the same as the male. Basically, you got some beauty spot choices here, and then you've got some freckles that you can choose from here as well. Bigger freckles, smaller freckles, more spread out, and so on and so forth. Then you can also do the opacity on them, like such. There you go. Scars. I said on the male side, I like the scars a lot. I'll say on the female side, I like the scars a lot. They're very subtle, so it's not the most impactful visual thing that you can do. I should probably change the hair very quickly to one that doesn't cover the face. I'm sorry. And then we can keep going there. But basically, They are very small. They are long-heeled scars. It's not like a fresh cut that you rock in here. But I think that they look good. I think that it's sort of a realistic look. But, you know, who am I to say this is realistic for a scar? Because, you know, this could be anything. In other words, like, if you had a cat scratch on your face like that, that's what it would look like, right? But if you had a lion scratch on your face like that, they would be bigger. And that would still be realistic. It would just be a different kind of realistic. The point I'm trying to make is that they went subtle, and the subtle style is good. But they could have gone a little further with it. I like what they've done, but I do feel like they could have gone a little further with the scars. That's the bottom line. It's like, that's probably the most impactful one you can pick, and it's already maxed on opacity. If you bring it down, then there's basically nothing there. Anyway, that's it. We're going to move on to the cheekbones now. Face. Wait. Cheekbones. There we go. These are the sliders, and you can use these sliders to make basically any of the designer presets that we saw over there, or you can make your own thing, because there's quite a lot that you can do here. We're going to go through it pretty rapidly, but you will see the movement that you can get either way. These are the cheeks, the angle, here's the width. It's basically to the sides a little bit. Protrusion. Can't really see that from here, but there you go. Inner height, that's close to the nose, and then inner width. That's also at the nose. You'll see how it moves like that. And inner depth. Alright. You gotta be careful with these, though. I will just say that you can mess things up here if you don't pay attention. Bone structure. Here's the front cheek. It's basically the main cheek that you move in. Then there's the back cheek, which is like it's almost the jawline, but there's actually a jaw section here as well. Then there's the temple width, which I found a little weird. Like on male, they give you less movement, but on female, it ends up looking a little strange when you actually pull it the one way or the other. And there's this like bump that pops up here at the top of the head as well, and I'm not sure why. This is a very weird slider, that one. Jaw. Lots of jaw options, and also probably the most impactful of the lot. Because you can go pretty big with this or pretty small with this. That's the protrusion. This is the lateral depth that's at the back there. Lateral height at the back there. Lateral width at the back. And lower jaw height. But these are quite impactful if you move them all the one way or the other way. And then finally chin. Not so much movement on the chin, I feel. But still, quite a lot that you can do with it. And it sort of comes together, you know? It sort of comes together. You can move it all around the one way, all around the other way, and you will see massive differences eventually. Now we're moving on to the eyes. Very cool, very fun on a female character. The eyes are nice and big. Lots of real estate to work with, and I will just say it's something I mention almost every character creator that I do. The eyes look good when you zoom out. They managed to make them look realistic, but they managed to make them look good. There's like a fine line to straddle, where if you go too far the one way, then you can't really see them when you zoom out. You go too far the other way, then they just look freakish and out of place. You can still do a little freaky and out of place here, sure, but it actually, for the most part, it lets you get away with a lot of stuff that would be considered a little strange, and it still looks okay. These are the presets, right? So you can sort of pick the shape a little bit here, the level of excitement, perhaps, and all sorts of other stuff. And yeah, there's heterochromia and all sorts of cool things you can do with the irises and the pupil and stuff. Let's move on and check it out. You can do individual, as I just mentioned, heterochromia is here, or you can do both sides. We'll do both sides, just know that you can do them separately if you'd like to. They have some recommended colors here that are not quite grounded in reality. They have some reds and like purples and pinks and stuff. And it's nice, but for this stuff, you can just, if you want to, jump into the full color wheel over here, and you can go anywhere you like with it. Anywhere you like. Like, literally, anywhere you like. You can go full black, you can go bright red, you can go for, here's the yellows, the greens, the blues, pinks, purples. It's kind of intense like that. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to go for like a light-ish pink like this, just so that we can see all the different options we have here. I don't think that the eye types are all that impactful, because they tend to, firstly, you don't zoom in too far, but they also tend to have very small and detailed changes that are being made, where it's not like Lost Ark, where you could pick a full picture that's on your iris. It's a little bit more subtle than that, but it still looks nice. It's basically this pattern on the iris that you can change. They look good. They look good. Or you can just take a normal, regular one. Then you can change the size, which I... I loved. I honestly, I loved this because it made it feel full anime to me. And you can also do the brightness, which is basically just gonna make it fully black. I felt like that was very anime. I don't know. I feel like you can make some cool characters with it. I'll put it in the middle for now so we can see. There you go. And then let's take one of the recommended colors again. Now, pupil. You can make it quite large or quite small. And then you can do the width as well, which makes it basically a slit versus round. It's kind of cool. Yeah. It's good options. It's good options. A little more grounded in reality than, say, again, Lost Ark, but still enough freedom to make interesting things happen. Now we have the actual structure of the eye and the face. It's basically these sliders that are moving every time you select one of these. I showed you the presets before, but now you get to do it manually. You can move the eyes around. You can move them in and out. Quite impressively, actually. The size, they can be rather large. Aperture. I don't know what was called that, but that's how close to open your eyes are. It's the eye length, the eye depth. As you can see, the slant. Yeah. Slant the other way. Kind of cool. Duct height. And then as you go down here, we got the eyelid options. Kind of cool again. And I mean, let's just, for the purposes of demonstration, show you what it can look like if you go max on all of them. yeah, it's kind of intense. And then you can go the other way. It's a lot of movement. Again, you can sort of make some hideous amalgamations here if you'd like to. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can. This is like that character from Oblivion, right? There you go. Let's just pick one of these up here as a preset. Okay. And that's basically that, right? Please give me a preset. Thank you. That's basically that. I reset it to default for our own sanity. Okay. Eyebrows. Here we go. I will mention, I do feel like they should have put the hair here. Let us do the, because the hair's all the way down there. They should have put the hair here. Let us do the hair, then the eyebrows, because you want to match them, right? The hair color and the eyebrow color. But basically, there are some choices for the eyebrows here. This is your bone structure along with the eyebrows themselves. This is the eyebrow section. There are a few different choices, not that many. I wouldn't call this the best eyebrow game I've ever seen, but there are some alright choices to be made here. You can do the opacity, and then you can do colors. I would first go for, if I was you, the hair, and then I would come back for the eyebrow color and just match it if you want to. You don't have to, obviously. You do you. But there you go. You can also do a custom color on this. It is there, and it's impactful. You can do it. But I recommend, once again, just doing the hair first. Right? Height. This is where you're going to be setting the expression of your character. Like, you can sort of make them more curious, more determined. You can make them look more goofy, more interested, you know, curious, angry. I don't know, man. It's like there's a lot of stuff that you can do with them. And it is important in the long run, because it's going to be like a look that your character is going to have on for perpetuity, you know? So when you do move these around, just be aware that it can be impactful. Like, you can look concerned, or you can look determined to not give a shit. And that's cool, man. That's cool. There's a lot of cool options here. There it is. Pretty cool. Lots of eyebrow stuff. Again, I'll just reset it for now. Nose. There are some presets to pick from here, which is good. I find noses are oftentimes quite difficult to customize. It might just be me that's not good at noticing noses or picking the right nose for the right character, but it's nice when they give you a little bit of guidance with that. Length. Height. I realize that this makes sense and this should be called height, but I feel like length should be this one and height should be that one, but maybe I'm wrong with that. Protrusion and width. There you go. Nose details. This is the brow height. Then the width. The height of the bone, which is on top. The tip. Can make it more bulbous or more pointy. Protrusion. Angle. And nostril size. Cool. Cool. Mouth. A little bit more impactful on females than on males, because they seem to, on most of the characters, have slightly bigger lips. But these are the presets that you can pick. Very nice presets, and the lips look really good, detail-wise. Very nice. Here's the mouth. We can move it up and down. Length. It's basically just bigger on the side. Then protrusion. And lip angle. That's basically just to give you a bit of a, you know. Jeez, that actually looks a little sad, that one. Shame. But that also looks a little sad. Like, it's not a very nice smile. Mouth details. This is the upper lips depth. This is the lower lips depth. Upper width. And lower width. Pretty cool. I mean, you got the options here, for sure. And then, ears. I like the way the ears move. Things you never thought you'd say. They move quite nicely. So, like, you don't have a lot of options here. You can pick pointy ears, slightly rounder ears, or regular, and then you can do the size. And I like how naturally it feels like they move when you make it really small, or when you make it really big. I feel like they move quite well. I'm impressed by it. Then you can do the angle as well. Kind of cool. Makeup. One of my favorite sections. I love the presets that they have here. Glitter on the eyes, a little bit less going on, and then as you go on, there's far more, and you get this. It's one of my favorite things. I love this. I love the lip makeup, and they have some interesting systems here, where you can actually do the opacity of the different parts separately. I had not seen that in a game before. I'll show you how it works in just a moment, but those are the presets. We're gonna jump in now. These are the eyelashes. Not much going on here. Much more visible on females than on males, but still not much changing. Eyeliner. Quite okay, especially when you get to the higher settings here. They look nice. I like them. And I mean, I may be mistaken with this, but I feel like they have one or two options more than the males. I think. You have the opacity that you can change here as well. And then eyeshadow. With eyeshadow, I'm going to set the opacity on both up. And I'm just going to pre-pick two colors. I'll take like a very dark blue on that one. And then on this one, I'll take like a, let's say, a green. Just so we can see, right? So that when we pick the ones we want, then you can actually at least see what they look like. Let's have a peek. So there's the green and there's the black. You can see the difference between the two colors. And I'll show you in just a moment how the glitter looks when you put it on there. The glitter, it's okay. I don't like that they don't let you choose the color of the glitter, but it's still okay. So let's take this one and I'll throw the glitter on and show you. It basically puts this golden glitter on and you are forced to do golden glitter. Like if they gave us a choice between like gold and silver, that would already be enough choices, but they didn't. It's just gold. You just have gold glitter. That's it. And again, you can change the colors here. You can make them brighter. You can make them whatever you want them to be. And it's cool. It's a good makeup system. It's not all that much, but it's still a good makeup system. I like it. Cheek makeup, this is kind of pointless. I don't know what the cheek makeup's all about, but let's pick a color and I'll show you how it looks. Opacity, you can move it around, right? So you can put some blush on the cheeks, but you can also move it forward and backwards. So you can sort of go anywhere with it. It's far more senseful on the females. It makes no sense on the males. On the males, you can go all the way back to like the ears with it. And it's kind of a weird situation, but you can I could probably see people doing stuff with this that's interesting. I don't know off the top of my head what I would do with it, but there it is. Lip makeup. The glitter is on already. I'll take that off for now. That's the gloss. Hold on. There's the glitter. That's not the glitter. There's the glitter. Alright. So, opacity, gloss. There we go. Yeah, I like the lipstick in this. I think it looks reasonably good. This one specifically is my favorite, but it doesn't really suit all the characters, obviously. But I really dig that. Let's take this one quickly. Show you the opacity, the gloss, and then the colors. Yeah, there's a lot of choices here. So if we put it over there and we just go around, you can see it's very bright. Incredibly bright. It's nice. Yeah, good options. Good options. And then the glitter, as I said, it's just gold. It's kind of nice if you go with like black and gold, but it's a bit much. So you would probably not put that much glitter on. You just put a bit less on like this. I don't know. Let's reset that quickly. Alright, war paint. This is kind of a cool section. First up, we have some tattoo choices here. The tattoos are a little boring. I will just be straight about that, because you only have these options. That's it. I don't know if you can get more in-game, but that's the tattoos. The war paints are slightly more interesting. You can't mix and match. You have to use one or the other. But the war paints, they allow you to do opacity 1 and opacity 2 separate. So each of them is actually a couple of different designs. And I dig that. I've never seen that before in a game. So I'm impressed by it. And I think it's kind of a cool addition that you can sort of go with this. And then you can change the colors on both of them. And that's nice. Yeah, it allows for some interesting customization. Because like, as an example, you can do the same on this one. Very cool. There you go. So for the colors, again, you can do the opacity and the colors. They have a bunch of recommended colors here. Very cool texture work on here as well. I like it a lot. But there's a decent selection. You can go full RGB and you can pick whichever you want with it. And it's bright. Yeah, it's really, really, really bright. It's cool. All right. I think that does bring us to the end of the makeup. And we are finally on the hair. I dig it. This is probably one of my favorite parts. A lot of nice options here. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see all the way down. The hair physics are just enough for it to look good, but not too much for it to look completely out of place. Lots of really cool hairstyles here. Better selection than on the males, I would say. Even though it's a similar number, and some of them look quite samey, you know. But these are your presets, so just keep that in mind. When we jump in here, you'll see the actual styles. The detail, the level of care that they took when they were creating these hairstyles and setting these up is phenomenal. I am a little unhappy that they don't have this hairstyle on the males. You just have it on female and that's it. It's like there's just no good short hairstyles on male. It's kind of weird to me. But yeah. Well, not that exact one as far as I know. This is really nice. Nice colors that they have here. Overall, pretty cool. Yeah, I'm just thoroughly impressed now. Thinking about like the amount of detail compared to some other games that I've looked at recently, it's just like this hairstyle here blows my mind. Alright, here we go. Now down here you get to pick, those are the templates and these are the styles. So that's how many hairstyles there are in the game right now. You've just seen them all, as far as I understand. I don't think that they didn't use any of them. I think they used every one. But what you get to do here is you get to actually customize them with colors and so on and so forth. And even though I do feel like the hair system here and the way the hair looks is probably the best I've seen in a long time, I still think there could be more that you could change here. In other words, I don't think that they went all out on the details available. So I would have liked to see slightly more options with the color. But overall, I'm still just thoroughly impressed. Like, there's really... I will not complain even for a second about what they have here, right? It's nice. It's really cool. Let's take... I mean, I like so many of these hairstyles right now. But let's take this one. And let us continue. So the color. They have a few suggestions here. Let's just turn it around so you can see it. They have a few suggestions here. And they are decent. They are more grounded in reality, basically. But then you do get to let loose and go for full RGB if you'd like to. My only complaint was, and I'm going to look if it's the same now, but I couldn't find yellow. And it's such a minor thing. But like, I go over here and I try find yellow, and there is just green and like red. It's like they skip yellow entirely. I don't know why. But overall, again, the colors and the choices that you can make here are pretty cool. And I do recommend looking at it in different lighting if you can. Because you might notice things that are different then. But this looks really nice, and the colors are all just full of life, vibrant, deep. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's really, really, really well done. Now, there is a 2-layer system for the colors. You get to do a contrasting color, they call it. and that basically allows you to add another color to what you've got. It's a highlight system. It's okay. It's all right. I'll take pink, and I'll show you what it looks like. Basically, you choose your color, and then you choose the range. Right? And you can just do a little bit if you want, like the highlights in there, which is kind of nice. I think it looks pretty impressive. Or you can go all the way. And then you can also do the opacity, which is all around just the opacity. So you can do a combo of the two. It's kind of cool, you know, but still, I do think they could have done a little bit more with the hair, because that is actually the end. that's the end of it. That's the end of it. And that brings us to, like, basically the end of the character creation. There's still the body stuff now. So, for the bodies, little sad that you don't get to hide the armor to actually see how the body changes, but it's alright. It's alright. You get to move your preset around here a little bit, where you can go bulky, you can go slim, short, and tall. Only complaint I have is that you can't go slim and short, because when you slide from slim down to short, then your character gets wider. And I mean, like, I just want to go in the corner down here so that it's slim, but also short. So if you want slim and also short, then you go here, you go slim, then you go to the height, and you bring it down to short, right? That's basically the way it works. But so this thing is a little flawed, but you can get what you want by just going down here and doing it like that, right? Right. Upper body. Here we have the head size. Not too much that's moving there. Neck width. Neck length. Careful with that one. You don't want to look like a giraffe when you jump into the game world. Your shoulder position, which is your posture check. You should have it nice and high. Shoulder size. And shoulder width. Torso. This is the closest you're going to get to like a boob slider, basically. Bicep size. You can't see more. So the reason I'm not zooming in is you can't see more. It's just that. You know, you can't take the outfit off here. I can change the outfit to one that's a little more revealing where that's concerned, but it doesn't really make much of a difference. This is the forearm size and the hand size. Like this stuff is just, I'm telling you now, like the body stuff's just an afterthought. Waist. There you go. Pelvis. Thigh. It's just down here. And calf. And that's it. Then we have some costumes to pick from. Personally like this one the most. I think it looks kind of cool. It's just a serving suggestion. It's nothing more. You're gonna equip what you're gonna equip. And as far as I understand, you will be in a different outfit when you start the game. This is just to look what your character looks like. And that does actually bring us to the end. We're going to randomize now, and we're going to see what it gives us. I will say straight up at the start of the randomization process here that this is very much curated in that they don't allow full motion on the sliders. So you will never find like a really messed up looking character here. And that's fine because, you know, for the most part, they want to put their best foot forward, right? That's cool. It's great. Yeah, whatever. I'm just saying that if you want to get crazy, you're not going to get crazy in the randomization here. These characters are all just ridiculously good looking. It doesn't matter which one you get. They are all ridiculously good looking. That is just the theme of Throne and Liberty's character creation. And that's a fine theme to have because, you know, you can get out there and you can live the fantasy. I think a lot of these characters look like Jessica Alba as a deer in the headlights. Right? That's a name that I haven't heard in a while. Jeez. But it's cool. I like the different options that they give you here. However, I will say that with the templates in the designer presets here, I feel you get enough. I feel there is enough there for you to work with. And yeah, otherwise, this is really impressive regardless. Like, there's just cool stuff here. Very, very cool. I could sit here for a while, a good long while, and make a really, really cool looking character because of all the options involved. And yeah, I like it. I like it. And that does bring us to the end of the video. Here in the outro, I will say that I have been thoroughly impressed with pretty much everything in Throne and Liberty's character creation system. My only complaint would be the characters are all too good looking. No, but seriously, you can do some sort of different stuff with the characters if you so desire. The presentation of it is just like, it's wow. There is so much available here, and yeah, they give you good-looking characters as the presets, and that's cool, man. But for real, the visual fidelity here, the level of detail, the texture work, the hair, all of it is phenomenal. I think they could throw a few new extra different options in here to spice things up. Like, I'd love to see a few more hairstyles. I'd love to see a few more options with the hair. But overall, it's just like, it's insanely cool. The beards on the male side of things are a bit of a disgrace, but like, I really didn't expect much there anyway. But I did come into all of this kind of blind, and I will say that I was taken aback by a lot of the cool stuff that they've done. Like, again, the hair, some of the hairstyles are just so damn good. And overall, I like it, and I think you can definitely jump in here, and you can happily sit, click through all these options, and probably create something that would be cool for you as an individual, and will stand out from the rest of the crowd. So that's what you want from a game, right? And the sheer level of detail on the characters that you get to create is just another huge thumbs up. They've done a phenomenal job here, and I like it. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys what you think. If there are any glaring issues with this character creation system other than what I've mentioned, I'd love to hear what your experiences were. And if you've been playing the game yourself, hey, lay it on me. Have you been enjoying it? I want to hear. But there you go, I'm done. You can, as always, check back here soon for more. Give this one a like, share it, and do all that other good stuff. You can find my links below, my coffee page, and my Twitch channel. You can go and check those out. I appreciate it when you guys do. And all the rest. I hope you guys enjoyed Throne and Liberty. Yeah. Happy gaming, dudes. Happy that.